Jesus is the truly innocent one. He is the pure one. He is the righteous one. If anyone did not deserve to die, it was Jesus. Here's how I kind of imagine this. I imagine this, that all throughout Jesus' life, a book is being written in heaven. In the book, someone's writing down there all the things that Jesus is doing. All the times that he was praying there and he had a lot of faith. Let's write that down. He was tempted there. He passed. He didn't give in. Write that down. There was a hurting person. No one else saw it. No one else even noticed. And he saw, and he went toward him in compassion. Write that down. Oh, wow. Jesus entered into people's pain, and he hurt, and he wept, and he grieved with them. Write that down. Right? And all throughout Jesus' life, all the things we read about in the Gospels, and so many more that we don't ever get to hear about, we'll get to hear about someday in heaven. All of that's written down, until what you have is the life of Jesus. And it's this book just filled with all of Jesus' perfection, the life of Jesus. He's perfect. But then there's us. There's Adam and Eve. There's Abraham, who doesn't always trust God. And there's Moses, who before he led this great thing killed a man. And there's King David, the man after God's own heart, who falls into adultery. And there's Barabbas, the convicted murderer, and there's you, and there's me. And we're not innocent. We're guilty. As it said in Isaiah, we all like sheep have gone astray. All of us. My friend Tyler likes to say, if sin were blue, we'd all be Smurfs. We've all sinned. Now listen, we don't feel like it a lot. Because it feels like, I'm just like everybody else. And people make mistakes, and, boys will be boys, and stuff happens. But here's the reality. We are under the wrath of God unless somebody intervenes. Why? Because there's also a book being written in heaven. Now, this one's about my life. It's called The Life of Luke. And it's being written, and some things are in there, and I would think they're pretty good, and my mom would think they're pretty good. But the scripture says that even our righteous acts are like filthy rags before God. So there's a lot of stuff that's written down like he was nice to that person, and then he bragged about it. He gave that money, but then his heart swelled with pride. Right? So even the good stuff has kind of this sort of shadow to it, but everything else is written down too. Every thought, he took the second look, and I don't think that's his wife. Every act of selfishness with his time, there's that person in need, pretend I don't see him. He wrote that down. And all of these things are written down. All of the words, all of the actions, all of the deeds, all of the things. He wanted to do that, but he didn't have the courage or the resources, or else he would have sinned like that, but he didn't. All the desires, right? All of the sins of the bad things he did and the good things he failed to do. And it's all written down in this book called The Life of Luke Simmons. And there's a book about you being written down like that, right? Sometimes people go, I'm just going to go before God, and if my good deeds outweigh my bad, they won't. Your bad deeds win, because even your good ones are tainted by the bad ones. Because we sin by nature and we sin by choice. And there's this book, and it would be horrifying if it came up on the screen. It would be horrifying if you got copies of it. It would be horrifying for me to see. Even the things that I don't know that I do wrong, that God does. And it's written all there. So there's these two books. Life of Jesus, the life of Luke Simmons, and the life of Barabbas, and the life of Adam, and your life. And here's the good news of the gospel. The scripture says in 2 Corinthians 5:21 that God made him who knew no sin, that's Jesus, to be sin for us. So God made Jesus to be sin. All of the things written in my book now are paid for by him. God made him who knew no sin to be sin for us so that we might become the righteousness of God in him. All of my sin, all of my failure, all of my rebellion, Jesus took it. And all of Jesus' perfection and love and grace and kindness and compassion and courage and strength and generosity gets counted to me. And I stand before God. And the book is all his stuff. And I'm welcomed. I'm loved. And I'm accepted. It's the great exchange of the gospel.